Hello everybody, it's Daniel here, bringing you a Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary. And I want to draw some attention to the initial gameplay I have here, because, as you might be able to see, this is a standard pub. My god, I thought they were dead. Well, community servers are already on the rise, and a man by the name of Jline1234 set up a bunch of servers for Europe, titled, appropriately so, I Just Want to Play. In light of casual mode, this was bound to happen, and there has been an immediate rise in the amount of community servers. I'm going to be linking the Reddit post that he made in the description for this video so you can get a host of IPs. He set one up for every default game mode in Team Fortress 2, and thank you so much, man, for doing this, because Team Fortress 2 is in a bit of a bad place currently, so having a place where we can play the game we know and love is pretty fantastic right about now. So thank you very much, man, and you can find the links for those in the description. We've still got to talk about the issues at hand for Team Fortress 2, because they're still overshadowing anything else that might be happening in the game. Valve servers are still completely messed up. Wait times are still rampant. There's been a new rise of the amount of hackers even on servers, and because everything's so borked right now, they're not even being banned. People are being connected to even the wrong servers for their region and being forced to play with ridiculously high ping, which is really, really unreasonable if you think that they're going to be trying to play a competitive match with like next to no connection. So Team Fortress 2 is definitely in a bit of a bad place, and we have had one update since the Meet Your Match update has launched. We had a confirmation from Valve that they're working on things. And specifically in that update, and the thing that we have to talk about today, they acknowledge that they don't talk as much as they should to the community. You can see it just at the end of the note that they had in the update. Valve has admitted that it has a communication issue. And this is very significant because this is something that the community has been saying for years to Valve. There's a sense that the TF team doesn't actually listen to us, and this little note at the end of the update post is hugely significant, and it actually means a lot. I think to anyone who's like interested in this game actively, it means a lot to finally hear that our feedback is actually taken into account. Because for the most part, it doesn't feel like anything we say has any meaningful impact on the game, and my point of reference for this is the numerous bugs and glitches that the community is always reporting. Like, we're actually really great for finding all the problems with this game and just highlighting it and making a point of it. You can always see, even if you hop onto like the TF2 subreddit, that there will be some sort of post where it's like, we found a new glitch. We should probably get this fixed at some point. The thing is, whenever those bug posts pop up, it always takes months upon months, sometimes even years, for those issues to even be resolved. The most notable of these, which is actually insane if you think about it, it took half a decade for the gunslinger to be fixed. It took half a decade for the guaranteed critical hit on your fourth strike if you whack it against teammates to be fixed. And anyone who plays the game would have known that was a thing just a year back, where if you hit your teammate 3 times, you're going to have a guaranteed critical on your fourth strike. Anyone who played the game would have noticed that, and it was being called out for years upon years. It took 5 years to be fixed. That's absolutely ridiculous if you think about it, and it definitely promotes this idea that we live in a vacuum. There is a huge gap between us and Valve. And although it is great to see that the TF team is coming out and saying that we do listen to your feedback, it definitely doesn't feel like a lot of our feedback is taken into account, or at least it takes far too long for it to even matter, to the point that we may have even forgotten what we said at that point, or just kind of accepted that this issue is never going to be resolved. And I think this ties into why there's been a huge amount of outcry over the broken matchmaking system that's been implemented in Team Fortress 2. Because there are fears among the community that this may take forever to actually be fixed. Having that little update on casual mode and the state of it was hugely significant, because none of us really anticipated something like that would come along. Because again, if you look at past updates and the issues that they have introduced, we'd only have them resolved about 6 months or so down the line. We'd never have an immediate update that would just say, don't worry, we're working on it. We never receive that from Valve. So it's hugely significant that it comes out here, because it breaks that vacuum. It breaks that huge amount of distance between us and them. And it's something that I think Valve really needs to work on if Team Fortress 2 is going to have a future. I don't think it's acceptable for games today that are trying to build an active community to have this massive divide between the developer and the community. I think they need to be related and in constant communication, particularly so if you're trying to build a competitive scene. You're going to need more communication than ever for an environment like that, because you're going to need to negotiate tournaments, you're going to need to work out your players and your teams. There needs to be a lot of talk that's happening back and forth that we simply have not seen for the longest time for this game, and that significantly needs to change, and it needs to change soon, because otherwise the competitors will simply drown us out. And my point of reference for this is if you look at a company like Blizzard, get your pitchforks ready as I mention Overwatch, but Blizzard is fantastic when it comes to communication. They have weekly notices. They put out tweets when there's obvious bugs. They put out little updates saying, don't worry, we're working on this glitch. They tell you when an upcoming patch is going to happen. They tell you what they're actively working on. If you have if you have an issue with your game or just a bug and you post in the Battle.net forums, you can more often than not, 9 times out of 10, get a dev response saying, with a bit of help, or a community manager come to you, some sort of acknowledgement that, don't worry, what you have said we have listened to, and we're going to try and help you. We don't have that for Team Fortress 2. We simply don't. The system, we get it occasionally through occasional face punch comments left by Jill, occasional posts on the subreddit, and they've been a little better about it in the last 6 months, but it's nowhere up to the standard that you would expect for modern day-to-day communication. And Valve seriously needs to work on this, because if we have a second update that launches in as broken of a state like this one has ever again, then I think that might be it for the game. I don't think people are going to be willing to put up with it anymore. Because we don't feel like we're valued. We feel like we live in a vacuum a lot of the time. We feel like we have to scream and shout and yell to have anything we say be heard. But the thing is, Valve does listen, and they do show it through the patch notes. But there's simply no acknowledgement of it until a very long period of time has passed. And I think they just need to up their game on that. Because a lot of people are just getting upset at this stage. Like, the game has been essentially broken for 5 days now. You can't realistically be using the casual matchmaking or the competitive matchmaking to that degree. There's too many issues. Field of view is locked. There's hackers. You're being put on the wrong servers. We need more updates than this. And if Valve is serious about taking our feedback into consideration, then I hope they take this into consideration. It's not going to take a mountain of effort, I would say. It just needs to be little things. Little things like, okay, we acknowledge this is an issue, let's maybe do something about it in the next patch. They don't need to instantly fix every problem that we have with the game as we present it towards them. But they do need to present some sort of acknowledgement that there is a problem. Because we've actually got a great community here. You can even see it together through this update. We're banded together, we're posting all these notices and all of our thoughts on it. We're posting lists upon lists of recommendations that we've had for the game, of bugs that need to be addressed. I think we deserve to be treated better than this. I think we're being taken for granted for many, many years. And I think Valve really needs to up their game now, because simply put, there's too many competitors for this to go on. Even right now, I feel like I have to plea and beg, even what I'm trying to say here, because I'm acknowledging in the back of my mind that none of this even matters. That nothing might change. That it's all just going to go on as before, and this issue is going to be swept under the rug as quickly as it came. And that's just really disheartening. For a game that I've known and loved for so long now, it'd just be a bit nicer to be acknowledged. Not taken for granted. We're not just all statistics that play this game. We're not just the player base. We're all people who actively love it. And you clearly have some interest in this game as well if you're still supporting it close to a decade down the line. Like, for the love of God, that's a very long time to support a game. Please just show some sign of that. The game might be on a downward spiral, and we might be riding it out till the end days. We might be deciding who's going to be the last one to turn off the lights at this stage. At least let's go on that ship together before it sinks entirely. It's a point of contention I've had with Team Fortress 2 for many years. But that is the problem I think that is coming to light from this update more than anything else. It's been brought to the forefront. And those are also the suggestions that I have to tackle it. If you're truly listening, then maybe you might take some of this on board. I hope you enjoyed this commentary nonetheless. I know it's quite a heavy topic, controversial even. I mentioned Overwatch at one time. People get very upset every time that's said, so I'll say it one more time for good measure, Overwatch. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you again with something new soon.